Ethan, glad to have you here.
Right, what are we doing here? It has not been 2 weeks.
No, it has not, but I called an audible and said, hey, is it all right if we record just a short, quick video today? Because it is a special day for me personally. I just released the first episode of season 2 of my podcast, and I am so excited about it and lots of emotions. And I
Yeah.
just wanted to talk to people and you and just communicate that feeling of finally putting something out into the world and knowing it's going to be judged.
It's kind of the best part in a lot of ways. I'm glad you're taking time for it.
Absolutely, and it's something that I don't hear many people talking about, especially with how much content is out there. I haven't heard anyone, well, I've heard one person talk about it, and he used a phrase that I've used ever since to describe it. He called it the moment of surrender. It's when you have something you've worked on, you're passionate about, you think is great, and all that's left to do is put it out to the world, and you have no idea how they're going to treat it, what they're going to think of it. And it's something that's really unique, I think, to this industry of, I mean, you do like a meeting, you give a speech, bake a cake, you're going to get instant feedback. And now more than ever, we are used to that instant response, instant feedback. Something like this, I've published it, and so far it looks like 4 people have watched it on YouTube, and that's it. It's going to be a while before I get real feedback, real people telling me anything.
Yeah.
So it's just a moment of nerve-wracking excitement and, like I said, lots of emotions.
There's so many parts to it. I use a different word than surrender, but it definitely is a massive feeling. And like, there's so not like an immediate thing like you're saying. If you were like a scientist like I used to be, you go like, oh, well, we need a lot of numbers. If like 3 people say something, you don't really know what the reality is until you have 50 people. But it's even more long distance than this, because you'll get something and it goes out and it'll go this direction. And like, oh, I guess that's what that is. Maybe 3 weeks later, something else will happen.
Man, I remember talking a while back to Daniel over at the Whiskey Vault, and their channel is, I think, the largest whiskey channel on YouTube, or if not, it's the second. And he was talking about how when he first started it, he was just putting out reviews of bottles and wasn't thinking much of it. Was getting, I forget if he said 5 or 50 views on average, and
wow,
nothing crazy. And then one of the bottles got picked to be in an advent calendar, and he was the only person who had reviewed it online.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, there was thousands of people watching his videos just overnight. It's amazing how delayed some of these responses can be. And again, there's really nothing like it. You being a scientist, having experienced that instant results, bartending, you put a bad drink in front of someone, you're not going to have it be a secret for long.
And I'm sure this is probably what you're getting to. This is all just another layer on top of the deeper, bigger layer of, what do I think about it? How do I feel about it? There's a lot in that.
As much as I'd like to say I'm secure in knowing I do a good job, there's always that part of me that says, oh, but you could have done more. If 5 more minutes on this, and you could have made this a little bit better. You could have found a better sound effect here. There's always something more to do, and it's what we circled back to how many times now. It just needs to be good enough. That diminishing returns, this is good enough, just put it out there and keep moving.
I think you're right. There's so many layers we got to get to that to like hit it from all the other angles. The one I'm thinking about today is the more time you spend polishing this thing, the less time the next thing gets. And there's a certain point where it's like, if you love this stuff so much, you're going to want to put all of these stories out.
If you love it so much, you're doing yourself a disservice holding it in, not sharing it with people. Don't keep it to yourself. Put it out there. It's worth it. And one of the things I wanted to talk about today was my experience this time around versus when I first put something out.
Mm.
So if we jump back over a year ago, back in January last year, put out episode 1, Shackleton.
Yeah.
And even before that, I had released a trailer. And I didn't tell anyone, I didn't post any links. It was just sitting on the internet, no one
Mhm.
watching it, and that's how I wanted it for months. And it was scary even just uploading this to the internet because I thought maybe someone would find it, but God, I hope not.
Yeah, this is interesting
And
because you did the scary part already.
it was terrifying to me of, I don't think this is good enough. This is my first time doing anything like this. I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea how the volume's going to be. I have no idea if my sound quality is good. I had no idea what I was doing, but just played around until it was, okay, I need to do something with this. I'm just going to put this online and let it sit there. And I didn't touch it, like I said, for months. And then one day, working at the bar, I was like, man, this is the moment. Fuck it. Texted the link out to one guy. And then later that night, got in my car and I sent the link out to about 30 different people, all just phrasing it like, hey, I'm trying something out. Love your feedback on this.
Yep.
And I remember it still being terrifying to send it out to every single time I sent one of those messages, I was scared. Then I started getting responses back saying, man, this is great. Oh, I'm excited to listen to this, but I'll get to it later.
Mhm.
Every single one of them was people I cared about, and they were positive and supportive. And very quickly, as I started doing more and more publishing, it turned from fear to excitement of, oh, I can't wait to hear what they're going to think about this one. I can't wait to share this.
Yeah.
And now it's gotten to the point where it's addicting, and it's been, oh, thank God I missed this.
Mm.
This is my drug. It's back. Thank you. I was on withdrawal.
That is so freaking true. And I think it's so important for like everyone to learn from that. There's so many parts of this that I personally have hated the first times I did it. And then after you get good at it, you start to love it. So just kind of powering through that first part to really find out how you actually feel about it.
Honestly, it's been weird slowing down and doing a full season at once because it's forced me to go without that for so long.
Yep.
And then there's times where I was like, okay, this has to just be good enough. Like one of the last episodes I did, it had one effect in it. And I was like, this is good enough. I just need to post this and hear what people say about it. And it forced me to just make more pots, just keep doing something because you want that. It really is addicting. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah. I think this requires some celebration. I'm getting out
very nice.
A nice bottle about two friends making some art.
Absolutely. I love to see it. Man, wish you would have told me you were grabbing that one. I would have grabbed mine.
Doesn't get. You can't be the only one with surprises.
Fair enough. I'm gonna get to my bottle in a minute, if that's all right with you, because I want to.
I am not the boss of it.
Focus on that.
That is a really fun thing that I'm looking forward to, especially since we've done this for a year and I learned so much more about how this works. I'm going to love every single episode, but I'm going to even more enjoy watching each episode transition of how much you learn through that experience, how the pots made the next one even better than the last one.
I think that's the one downside to this format of doing it in a season like I did this time around, is making them all back to back and not putting them out there and hearing feedback from them. I don't think I'm going to learn as much this way.
Interesting.
But I think it's going to be better for growing the channel.
Yeah, I'd like to see what you think about it afterwards. I personally have learned so much from the making of it. And one of the things I like about this work is you can actually tell yourself if it was good or bad. And I kind of feel like the amount of learning I get from feedback from an audience, it's so. From experts like you, I get a lot of benefit from that. But just looking at myself and going, okay, if no one else was on the world and I literally was just making it just because I wanted this to exist, how would I feel about this one?
Personally, I think that experts do a great job, But honestly, I think my best critic is probably Ashlyn, because she will be brutally honest with me, and she's approaching it as just a casual listener, not someone who's expecting anything more. So there's one of the best things she always tells me is, your sound effects are too loud, your music's too loud, we need to hear you talk. And when I'm editing, I'm like, oh, I don't like the sound of my own voice, I'm going to boost this, and this sounds better to me.
Let me ask you about that. Almost all of this is just exposure. How do you feel about your voice now at the start of season 2 compared to how you felt about it when you were doing season 1?
So I'm going to answer that question, but I'm also going to talk about something else quickly that's very much in line with this. The first time I got a microphone, a good microphone, and it's nothing crazy. It was, I think, $40 for a good mic and these headphones. Absolutely love it. But anyways, I had heard my voice on, like, when I set my answering on my phone and everything and leave a voicemail. I absolutely hated the way my voice sounded, and like doing school projects and having to record something, hated the way my voice sounded. And then I got the mic and recorded something. I went, oh, this is so much better than what that sounded like.
Yeah.
I'm much more okay with this. Still don't like it, but it is so much better. It's night and day. And now there's still times where I'll have like an off day recording, come back to a week later and go, I need to re-record all of that. This is not good. This is not the right energy. Not gonna lie, there's one episode where I purposely didn't bring the right energy to it because I started out saying that I'm a little hungover.
Yeah.
So that was intentional. Part of the storytelling of it. But absolutely, night and day difference from when I started. I can listen to my own voice. The first time I showed the podcast to my family, my parents and my sister were in the same room, and they all listened to it on speaker together. And I had to go into the other room, put on headphones, and just not pay attention, because I could not be in the same room while they were listening to it.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
It
No way.
felt so wrong. Oh, I think I was in that room for 30 seconds and then bolted out the door.
Because you already know the story. You made it. Like, what am I supposed to do here? Just stare at you and, like, needily want a reaction?
Yeah, and hear just my own voice talking. And again, it was the first one, so it was still very rough. And I'm proud of it. I think it's a great story. I think the writing was well done. But
yeah.
Looking back, I could do so much better on the effects. My voice didn't have the right energy. I was more meek when I was recording it. It just was not to the quality that I hope I can deliver now.
And that's the beautiful thing, but it's also kind of the artist madness, where the more you improve, the better you are, the more joy you can give to people, but the more you feel that kind of like, oh, I feel how much better that should have been.
And it's one of my favorite stories. I absolutely love it. So at some point, I'm going to go back and remaster it or something. But
yeah,
man, it was... I still don't think I could do it the justice it deserves. It's such a good story.
That could actually be your little, white whale. That if this is something that's so great, I found that the more I care about a story, the more important it is, the more I want to put it out. But like the higher my standard becomes for it. And if you could have something that you are so impressed by that every couple of years you make it again to make it better, you will always have something pushing you to make better things instead of ever, getting on a plateau.
That's true. We'll see. I'm not sure about doing it like every year, but definitely at some point it deserves to be retouched and brought back up. But I wanted to talk to you and bring up your experience. You recently put out your first full-length YouTube video. I'm not sure if that's the one you want to talk about, or how that compares to any of the other things you released, your class. You've done a lot of great projects, and I want to hear how you feel about that moment of surrender.
Yeah, you're bringing back... Yeah, so there's like 3 different things I would consider significant jumping off a cliff.
You
I
tend to do a lot of cliff diving, my friend. You have no fear.
dude, like growing up broke on a farm, not really fitting in with the leftists or the conservatives. Everything I have, this chair, this bottle, this camera, the house I live in, everything I have is because I took risks because I had nothing else to gain with. I started off with drones, and that was easy. You put up a video of a building. It's not me. It's not my front of, you know. But the first thing when I put out that
Man, I
the
think I'd
whiskey
still
tasting
be
course,
scared of putting that out. Just, is this too shaky? Am I
mm,
doing the right movements? Do I have the right background song going on? There's still a lot of work that goes into that. Don't downplay it.
it ramped up a lot higher when I put out the whiskey tasting course. And again, that wasn't very successful, but that was a lot of, oh, this is something I care deeply about. And the interesting thing for that, I never really thought it until you asked me at the time, but I actually didn't have it even in my radar of, am I going to be embarrassed? Is this not good enough? The only thing I was nervous about was, would this be bad for the people I gave it to? If somebody bought it and like didn't like it, felt like they got ripped off, that would make me feel terrible. So that ended up making me suck at it because instead of making a small pot, I was trying to make sure it was a masterpiece. Uh, very
I
learning lesson.
feel like that's everyone's first project is, man, this is something I care so much about that is inspiring me to actually go and do it.
Mm,
And it's got to be perfect because this is what I care enough about to inspire me to go and make something. It's
yeah. The most difficult leap for me was the first YouTube video where I put my face on, which was that review of the YouTube desk studio. And that was, it's me. I'm not hiding behind buildings. This is a script I wrote. I'm announcing it. All the editing, all the B-roll. This is all my corny jokes and everything. There's nothing to hide behind. That was a little bit like, the biggest part of that academy was just a training to like help you understand why it's completely fine to be as garbage as you want your first time and how that's actually a good thing. So that helped, but it was still there's some parts that look a little cringy even to me, but I'm glad I tried it. But the fact that anybody liked it came as a shock to me.
hey, you did a good job on it, my friend, and again, bravo to you for putting it out there. And honestly, I think the first time I jumped on video, it wasn't that big of a deal because we had been doing this podcast for a
Mm-hmm.
while, and I remember the first time that we broke out the cameras, that having someone else there and doing it for the first time with someone else made it a lot easier to jump in. Doing it by yourself and just hoping you have everything set up right is a little more nerve-wracking in my opinion.
That makes sense. I do remember that time, like doing my best to try and read your face, and I'm a terrible person at like pay attention to others' emotions. And you're a master poker face. I was like, I know Ryan said he doesn't like being on camera, and he's doing this because he's a really kind person. How much is this stressing him out? And I was like, doing the eyes, trying to be.
It definitely had me a little worried just of, man, I've never recorded anything with my face and put it out there like this, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you're going to edit it. I don't know what it's going to end up becoming. That is a little nerve-wracking the first time, but I trusted you. You're a good friend, and I'm very glad I did.
I am too, mostly for how much you've taken that and run. Your video stuff continues to get better, and like I'll run into my feed, and I know this is like an important thing to learn and study how you're doing it and what you're going to do next. But in the moment, like this is fun. I'm liking this. This is better than most shit in my feed right now.
Hey, I appreciate that, and it's only going to get better. I told you, I think, that I invested finally in a tripod, and then also I got the Bluetooth lav mics.
Yeah.
Oh man, they make such a difference. They are so nice. Best $20 on the lav mics it's amazing. I think the sound was a tiny bit off, but again, just do a clap sync or something, that'll work perfect. And I plan on doing a lot more short form content, and I want to have like the blue sky behind me. So this is something where I can just grab the mic while I'm walking to my car to go to work, record something on my phone, publish it, and have it go live while I'm driving.
I love this so much. Like, this is this magic thing where 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2. When you remove the friction, so much more comes out, and it comes out with more enthusiasm, more passion. You have that flow of creativity, so it's going. So, like, whatever, 2, or even it was like a 20% drop in sound quality because you didn't spend forever researching or saving it for something else. That the things you're writing, the things you're saying are so just 100 times better. It's great that you're actually getting out and doing that.
Absolutely. Again, best $20. Just get one of those if you're looking for something to start with. It has actually pretty good sound quality, I think. I sent you a little clip that I recorded of it that's going to be going live on Monday. And what did you think of the sound in that?
It sounded good to me. Another thing that makes you realize is you got to look at the use case that most people are doing. I am paying a lot of attention in sound right now for a project that's not in today's topic. And I know I would need to pull up my headphones, plug them into my laptop, and put them on my ears before I could even tell. There's like thresholds of the sound is bad without headphones, and you're clear of that. You're already clear of that. And how many people ever actually listen with their headphones on? So it's almost as if it doesn't matter. You've already reached perfection.
Hey, that's the goal. And again, I just picture everyone just doom scrolling on their phone, and hopefully I can make them stop for a second or two. But absolutely love that. Great content to come. But I also wanted to just take a moment, and I thought it'd be interesting for both of us to just quick tell you how the analytics for the trailer went, that short form content.
Yeah.
So I recorded down everything. On Instagram, the same reel on all of these, same short form video. Or no. I'm sorry, which one's which now? I had this written down and did not think to label them for some reason.
Because you had to do 600 other things to get this pulled together.
You're too kind, giving me a good excuse. Okay, yeah, that is right. Instagram was 171 watches.
Yay.
TikTok, 562. And YouTube Shorts, 403.
Yeah. Yeah.
The exciting thing to me is I broke 1,000 on one piece of content.
Yeah, dude.
Split
Cheers.
between 3 platforms, but over 1,000 on one. If I can get even a tenth of that to come over and watch the full podcast, I will be ecstatic. So absolutely expect more short form content coming soon. I actually have 2 planned for this weekend already. I tried out, I know I talked to you a little bit about this, that Opus Clip software, where it goes through and you upload your podcast, video, whatever, and it will go through and create little clips that it suggests. And uploaded Taketsuru Part 1, and it gave me 15 clips. The very first one is the whole first paragraph that I wrote out of, here's why this matters. Here's my hook. Here's what will catch your attention.
It knows quality.
And it said 99 out of 100. Good hook, good flow, good. Like, okay, I'm doing something good. Even the software thinks this is a good start. Love to see that. Absolutely, I'm going to take that clip and I'll use that. I'll post that tomorrow. And
most of what I know about hooks, I've learned from you.
It's something where it took me a while to fully get it and be able to write a good one, but it makes such a difference. And then the second bit There's only 2 out of the 15 that I actually liked and plan on doing something with.
Okay.
The second one is talking about Rita and Taketsuru's love story, and it has a music swelling in the background. I was like, okay, yeah, this one's beautiful. I'm gonna steal that one. The other
Yeah.
13, yeah, they're not great. But I got 2 out of 2 great short form videos that I can upload on those 3 platforms, potentially get another 1,000 views, and hopefully draw more people to the show. It took me, I think it had 20 minutes of just letting it spin, and it just does it in the background so I could do something else. Yeah, that's worth it.
There's
No
another
effort.
solution to this too that we got to appreciate is even for the people who are already going to watch your podcast, that will increase how excited they are about it, increase how much they're going to enjoy it when they're watching. And there's a lot of business reasons that actually helps too, which we could talk about if you want. But that, on an artistic level, is kind of like the end goal. Like, if I had infinite money, the best thing would have people not just watch my stuff and go like, okay, I got 1,000 viewers, but have the people like really have a great time watching it. That is satisfying. So I like this idea so
Not
much.
just that, but I was scrolling on my phone, doom scrolling, which is a horrible thing and it makes me feel bad, but I do it anyways.
You'll have to explain it to me someday.
It's when you just sit on your phone and scroll through things for an hour at a time, just doing nothing, and at the end of the hour you go, God, I've done absolutely nothing. This was a waste of time.
Doing nothing is such a... I have a very different perspective about that at this point in my life.
When I'm thinking, oh, there's 7 other things I should be doing, but I'll just keep scrolling because this is easy. It feels bad. But
okay, gotcha.
Anyways, was doing that, feeling slightly guilty, and all of a sudden it's a little clip like that for a show. I'm like, oh, I've been meaning to watch that. I'll just turn that on now.
Yeah.
It reminded me, oh, this is out there. There's only 4 people who watch the show. It's Easter before or Friday before Easter. Chances are they're probably busy doing something, getting ready for family. This can be a nice, gentle reminder of, hey, don't forget, this is out there. You should listen to it. Why wouldn't I take that? So, very excited for those.
Yeah.
It's free. You get, I think it's an hour and a half of, you can upload videos and it will just spit out the clips for you every month. I think I used, 20 minutes of it on this episode. So I'll have enough to do that every episode for the month, I'm hoping, and just keep getting however many videos. If I can get 2 from it every month or every week, absolutely, that's worth it.
And I believe that's like a great tool that's going to be like honing your skills, because everyone you look at that you say you like, that's teaching you more about what resonates with you. You're going to be like, why did I like this? And all the ones you go, you know what? That's not good enough. I don't want that. That's also going to be teaching you like, why didn't I like this one? And I believe that soon this is going to make it so that you will be able to just instinctually do this on the fly, almost while you're still writing the podcast.
I hope so. We'll see. I think it really has to do with, a lot of times when I write it, I don't think about where the music's going to go because I haven't found the music yet. And, like, I'm editing one right now that takes place in Ireland. Trying to find good traditional, like, folk Irish music for free online. God
Dude,
damn.
I am paying for it, and it's still hard. When I took that song that I paid for the license for, I had to, you know what, after 30 seconds, this gets too annoying, and I had to transition and fade it out.
Oh, man, I found a couple good ones, but instead of being, like, the happy, upbeat ones, they're more, like, depressing, slow. And I'm like, okay, I can use these in some somber moments. This isn't going to be where I thought I'd put music, but I can make this work. So, naturally, those parts are going to feel more full in the clip because it will have music. And now, this one part that I never would have thought to clip is going to sound better, so I should use that.
Yeah.
It's a weird process of just one thing at a time. Otherwise, if I think too many steps ahead, I'm not going to be able to find the music to make that work, or I'm not going to be able to find the things to make that sound right.
Well, this is kind of like that core thing you started with, that you always have to be doing the skill of saying, I'm stopping now, I'm moving to the next thing, when there's never a feeling that it was complete or there's any certainty that this is enough. And that, I keep coming back to, is the real core of being an artist. The real skill that creates all others.
It definitely is something that I hope practice will make me better at. We'll see. I hope it can be improved. Still working on that.
I believe so. I think that's why, I personally keep pushing myself so hard to keep picking small pots. Because on one hand, the easy way, you'll actually get a sense, you'll get it right more often, you'll be able to find. The other hand, you're just emotionally going to get more comfortable with. All right.
Absolutely. We'll see. I think you're right too, but we'll see how it goes. And again, learning curve there.
Mm.
So there's one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that's the bottle that I've chosen today. But while we're talking about small pots, I have a fun plan with it. And that's I'm actually going to record a short form content about this bottle right now while we're recording this.
Hey.
And I'm going to publish it while we're doing this because, god damn it, make small pots.
Reality TV. Dude, you are a fucking genius.
We'll see. I mean, this is like a behind the scenes type thing because I'm going to record it on this. And I've got my tripod sitting next to me. So a lot of this will be off screen for you guys. But again, just subscribe to my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and then you can see it.
I'm prepared. I thought of all the words I can say that can make this unusable.
I'm going to keep you on the headphones. Just for that.
I feel seen. Ryan knows me.
I was thinking about that earlier of, do I want him to talk? No. I'm kidding. You're fine. So I'm just going to get that set up. And oh, that's why that's not fitting. I've got my lav mic looped through it. Going with the old corded one.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want me to tell you about the bottle first, or do you want me to record it with it off screen and you can kind of hear about it?
I want to see it first. I'm getting a better sense of how much I need to know so for me to learn as much from it, and that will help me.
Absolutely. Let me just attach this real quick.
Fuck
Double mic'd up.
Suiting up like a pro.
So, the bottle for today is Taketsuru. Named after Masataka Taketsuru.
Yeah.
And this is the brand he actually started after he left Suntory.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to honor their founder, who again happens to be who I'm talking about in the show. This is a bottle straight from Japan that a friend of mine brought back and ended up selling to me later on.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing is just a work of art. It is gorgeous. I don't think you'll be able to see it, but the cork, there's actually 2 cranes engraved on it.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, actually, you would know better than I would on this. I've been told that Tsuru sounds like the Japanese word for crane.
Yeah, I didn't notice that until you mentioned it, but yeah.
Okay, so that's why I was told that it has the crane on it, and I just believe that because why wouldn't I?
Yeah. The fun part about exploring Japanese whiskey is that people don't screw with you as much as with Irish. I was on a tour and they had me convinced that Ireland invented chocolate for a solid 3 days.
Yeah, the Irish will definitely have a sense of humor and mess with you.
Well, the Japanese tell you.
I'd be upset if they didn't.
Yeah. Man, it's such a good pairing. I'm trying to get into other things more, but Irish whiskey, American's my home, and Japanese whiskey, those just go so well together. The balance of it.
All right.
Is this your first time opening the bottle?
It is. I've been saving it specifically for this because I knew I was going to do an episode on him and wanted to celebrate it. And just happened to be when I cut it off to make it a season. So absolutely, even better. Glad I waited.
How count down until I rope you in to make some content about Shogun and Japanese whiskey. You've been warned.
I am excited for when that happens. Got a few different bottles from Japan that would be really fun. But let's get just a clip of me opening it. Probably should have taken the plastic off first, but
The Makioka Sisters is a very famous Japanese novel. It's taught in the style of you're studying the Iliad and the Odyssey. It is a horrific abomination.
I'm very curious as to what that is about because I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, this is what happens when you actually have a degree in Japanese studies. Living in America, the number of people who think they know things about Japan, that's over here. The number of people actually know things about Japan. It's right about here.
This is why I'm glad I have you as a friend because I should know more about it. They're making a ton of whiskey now. I need to learn about it, so please share with me sometime.
Yeah, we can dive into that.
All right, let's.
どのぐらい白人が日本語わかるのか。あんまりないね。
Stiff on there.
Let me know when to stop talking, but I've been watching people making content about Japan since Shogun's going to be really popular. And it's amusing to me the half of people who can't even pronounce the words right, and the other half of the people who might be making massive leaps to connect the show to what they're talking about, but have the pronunciation completely right. And you can tell they put like a ton of background research into it. And it's fun to see the difference.
That is interesting. I haven't. Where is Shogun on? Is it Netflix?
It's on FX, which is hosted by a lot of other things. I'm currently watching it on Hulu.
Okay.
Which,
I've got Hulu. I can do that.
Yeah, man, I would love to do a side story with you on that. Like, I don't really have time for watching TV, but the scenes where no one is even saying something, there's so much said. And like the cornerstone of Japanese art is everything in your life happening in one moment, or an extreme amount of peace and nature. So the times when they're saying nothing, it's actually telling a massive story of the culture itself, just the way it's done. Like, I'm watching it, my friends go like, yeah, this is nice. And I'm like overloaded because they had 20 things per minute of like real deep culture and allusions and like allusions. Like, oh yeah, there's so much going on, like baking in the culture of that time. It's like, it's a rich cake, my friend.
I am glad to hear it and gonna be looking forward to that. I'm gonna quick record a clip of me talking about this, and then I will be right back. My headphones are tangled up in my mic. There we go. Alright guys, exciting moment for me. Episode 2. Fuck. Why is it always when I'm on mic recording a video, I suddenly lose all ability to cohesively put a sentence together?
You can do it!
Alright guys, exciting moment for me here. Episode 1 of Season 2 just released for my podcast about Masataka Taketsuru, so I'm going to celebrate with a glass of this very special bottle here, Taketsuru, named after Masataka, and it is just a beautiful work of art bottle straight from Japan that a good friend of mine actually brought back with him from when he was stationed in Japan, and I ended up getting it off of him years later. So this is my first time opening it. Can't think of a better time to celebrate. Cheers, and thank you for watching. I had no plan going into that.
Now look who's getting good at the ad-lib work.
That sound good to you? Because it didn't to me.
Yeah, no, it did. You don't have to worry about the going over long like I do. So when you are going off the cuff, it gives you a lot of sincerity. That was a heavy connection with the audience, which is the long run of what you really want to get into. Good stuff.
Oh, I suppose I should actually try it.
No, hand me over to here. Let me do that for you.
I wish I could pour you a glass. I would in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That is interesting. That is very unique.
What's it taste like?
It's got some nice fruit notes to it. One of the weirdest notes that I've heard for Japanese whiskey, but it's so true, and I see it in so many of them now, is grape skins.
I don't know if I've ever eaten the skin without the rest of the grape.
I forget who it was. I want to say it's Suntory, but it might be. I forget if it's the Toki or the Hibiki. Two of the tasting notes that they listed were grape skins and almonds. It was like, those are such nuanced flavors. I never would have even thought of looking for them in whiskey. And now that I have that as a just frame of reference of look for these really light, sophisticated flavors, now I can actually contextualize the whiskey a little bit more, and I start noticing those. It's amazing the power of suggestion on it.
Well, it come back to why your short advertisements are so good, because the power of suggestion, it's real. You put, sugar water in a blue container and people think it tastes like grape. You have 2 shorts telling people about it. They're going to be so much more excited by the time they get to listen to it that they're going to enjoy it 10 times as much.
Fingers crossed. Real question is, do I tag the person who I got this bottle off of in the post?
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. I feel like other people are going to try and get whiskey off of him, and I don't think he has any more to sell.
That'll be amusing.
Fair enough. Can't hurt him. A little more exposure for him as well.
Mm-hmm.
I can remove it if he doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things that I should tell you about, I got a video editing software on my phone now. I just got the free version, so it plays ads, and it has a little watermark in the corner. But I just crop that out.
Leave it in. No one cares.
Decently enough, yeah.
Which one is it?
It is KineMaster, Kine.
Mm-hmm. Never heard of that one.
I just Googled what's the best video editing software on Android, and it came up as number 1. I said, good enough for me. Has a free version. Let's try it out.
Yeah, I have to re-examine my life because I spent thousands of dollars on this, and I have 3 communities I'm in about this, and I've never heard this word. So I'm going to ask some people tomorrow.
My guess is it's not actually that great, but it probably has good revenue to pay advertisements on Google to get it to come up as number 1.
Or it could
That'd be my guess.
It's not great. You're what's making it great.
It does the job of letting me put clips together, but I do have some frustrations with it, and it definitely has been a learning curve just in the one video I put together with it.
Dustin was complaining about his editing software today, too, and we had a long chat about that. We got to get him on the show eventually as well.
Absolutely. Need more people.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
If you're going to drink Japanese whiskey, I have no choice but to combat that with whiskey from a football.
That's a great bottle. I love that one.
America! That's an interesting cork sound.
I gotta say, it's very amusing having you combat Japanese whiskey with American whiskey, knowing that the line that you had to read to help me out with this episode is saying that America can't make good alcohol because we lack the national character.
Dude saw California. He was
That's
not
true.
wrong. Taketsuru knew what's up.
Well,
Fuck
I
you.
like to think that post-prohibition, we came back and made it more of an art form again.
I think if he had showed up to like pre-prohibition Tennessee, he would have been like, "Oh, these guys are fun."
I would have loved to see Taketsuru stop in like Appalachia and stop by moonshine stills.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been so interesting to hear his thoughts on.
You know, the generations of trained poker face that man had, he could get by in anywhere.
I bet he could. Oh, it's trying to get me to create an account. I just say close and then reopen it. Yep, it still works.
So your plan is you're going to edit it now and upload it while we're doing this.
If that's all right, so I need you to help fill some dead space here while I focus for 2 seconds.
I am a little bit good at talking.
I didn't think you'd have a problem helping me there.
I'm trying to steer though because I've had a couple whiskeys, and there are things about the period where Taketsuru was in California that is 100% true that we're not allowed to say. And then there's stuff about Shogun, which fall into the same bucket. But like relevant to the audience. I like this. This has been one of the most inspirational things, and also really like building my like connection with others, just thinking about how does this, what's relevant to other people. Shogun's really interesting to me. I lived in Japan. It was one of my like obsessions that I took so seriously that I actually, you know, got a degree in the culture and all that stuff. But thinking about how it's being used for content creators right now, I'm noticing a lot of people are making content and their field has nothing to do with Japan or anything in the show, but they're trying to find a way to connect to it just because it's getting a lot of attention. It's effective. Do it. You should try it too. It's also interesting to see how well certain people are doing it. That technique that I learned at Stage Academy, where you literally can take any two things and connect it and not be a charlatan, actually make a meaningful connection if you just understand a couple techniques. Watching how they're doing it, it's been a lot of fun. I definitely really want to get on that too, because like honestly, I feel like I could take a month off because I know so much about this. I would have so much to do and it would probably be like really strong connection. But it's been fun just kind of having a minute on the side bench and watch. Go, yeah, that's well done. That's inspiring. That really is respectful to the source material and uses the beauty in it to drive what you created even more. It's been really nice seeing good people make things well.
I love to hear that. And I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to record something because I realized I should be holding a glass of whiskey when I say cheers. That was wrong of me to do that without. So I'm going to ask you a question, leave, and then we can come back and talk about it. And it's not even so much a question, it's just something that's going to, I think, hopefully piss you off.
Oh.
And that's the idea of doing something wrong on purpose for engagement.
Why wouldn't you?
So here's the part where it's going to piss you off. The shirt I'm wearing has characters in it.
I can tell the difference.
I know you can. Korean.
They are not friends. Not even that.
No, they are not.
We had a
but I had this from back when I was in Taekwondo, Korean martial arts. I didn't even know what this said. I Google translated it before this, just going, I should probably make sure this isn't something horrible.
We'll be fine. What does it say?
I forget. It was something about just like mindfulness and thoughtful, some bullshit yoga stuff for martial arts.
Yeah, that's one of the weird things where, like the Shogun show, it's like, you know, like a couple hundred years ago, and you watch a show about a couple hundred years ago, Europe, it's the English fighting the Germans, or and now like no one cares. We're all getting along. Japan and Korea, they still freaking care. I had a
Oh,
student in my
absolutely.
class. She was one of the most intelligent, and she's really awesome. Everyone would act really weird around her all the time, even the teachers. And I didn't know way, but I gotten long stopped caring why anything was weird. I'm just gonna do my thing. Being a foreigner,
Good plan.
you have carte blanche for weirdness. And then finally, I just noticed that they're talking as she's this pathetic, horrible. You got to help her out. She's so disadvantaged. Like, she's the hottest girl in the class. She's the smartest girl in the class. Like, what do you do talking like she needs help? And like someone pulled me aside, like, hey, don't tell anyone this. But that's not actually her real name. Her name is this. She's Korean. I'm like, who cares? It's like, we care. I'm like, oh, found the racist.
The only time I care is if someone says they're from North Korea, because then I need to talk to you, because you've got some weird stories. I know it.
Oh, they were fun too. The stories that I will not talk about recorded, but I was working at a bar in Osaka, and we had a crew come in once from North Korea. And we say Korea, South Korea, North Korea. And so when I was trying to talk to them, like, oh, yeah, I don't give a shit. I know, between the cops, the Yakuza, and my secret past, I'm not going to be hurt. But, so what's going on in North Korea? And they got mad. And every time I said, they got more mad. I'm just trying to understand, because I really do not care. They don't, in their language, they don't even call it the same country. So it's not South Korea or North Korea. It's if you were saying, North Africa and South, Europe. The fact that I was implying they're on the same continent was just infuriating them. And
interesting.
That just made it even more fun.
Definitely want to ask some more about that off the show. But I'm going to record that clip, and then we can get back into it. Thanks for listening. Cheers. Now we'll just splice all that together and hope it comes out good enough.
I really like the training in the Stage Academy. You have to just practice extreme ends of every dynamic. So whatever realm you need to be in, you'll be comfortable when you go there. Do one that's just over the top dramatic. Are you man enough for stories of Japanese whiskey forged in the battles of a world war? I didn't think so. This one's not for you.
I like that. I gotta be careful. You're gonna become a better storyteller than I am pretty soon if you keep that up.
I've been stealing all your tricks for as long as I've known you.
Exactly. I'm running out of tricks, and you're learning them all. What's worse, you're going to other places and learning tricks. You're gonna catch me in no time.
It's been a lot of fun for me that I actually can appreciate what you're doing even more now.
It's amazing because sometimes you say things and I don't even realize I've done them.
That's a good part of art too, of actually, if you actually can reflect things,
I think that's definitely part of it, but I think another part is just, oh, yeah, that sounds like I know what I'm talking about. It makes me sound like I'm better than I am. I'm going to agree to that. I will not complain if you're going to make me look and sound better.
Oh man, I love corn whiskey so much.
Ooh, I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to use these clips.
Too much profanity? Nudity? Anti-Semitism?
No, the logo goes right through the side of my head.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's not a great logo.
It's got to be better than TikTok logo. And, this is the thing. There's so many flaws that we don't notice because we're having a good time. So you don't understand how much flaws don't matter.
Still kind of big. Oh, it's not. Yeah, that's where it gets bad.
Oh, that's totally fine, man. 100%. It's
I
not
actually
going
don't
through
really
cuts.
plan on putting any effects in it, so I can probably just put it together on TikTok and not have anything.
What you should do is you do it on that, and then do it on TikTok, and get the TikTok logo on the bottom corner, and see if you can find 2 more that in other corners, and just have everything. No one will give a shit, but it'll be
That's
fun.
true. The problem is I will give a shit.
And this is what I kind of wanted to steer to. Like, this is really important. What are people going to like it? Does it look good enough for other people to be interested in? And your first question was about the reaction of the audience. But it is at least 50% important of how much are you going to like it? Like, that to me, I've went through that Tony Robbins program. And one of the questions you're supposed to ask yourself every day is, what is something I'm proud of? And there's a lot of content that no matter how few people watch it, or even if people hated it, like, I just look at it like, I am proud of this. I like that this exists in the world. This makes me happy that this is around. And anything that people like, that adds on to it. But this is already, I'm very
I'll
proud.
drink to that, my friend.
I think I
That
want to
is
try and
interesting.
work at keeping in touch with that. Because there'll be a thing where you're going to succeed. And then the more views, the more success, and even the more money, eventually it's going to just start being numb. Like, okay, I can't get any more joy about the extra. But this is always going to be there if you don't let go of it. Or you're going to make something and go, yeah, I like that. I like this video.
I hope so. Honestly, I can see the appeal to getting an editor where you just ship everything off to them and then you watch it from your own personal account and like the video.
I did actually get an editor yesterday and got my first clips from him today.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You willing to talk about that on the show, or is that something where wait and see?
We might want to save it for our full episode this next week. But
that sounds good. I forget we got one on Tuesday already.
I know. You're taking up my whole life. The short of it is...
You're going to start seeing me more than Ashlyn. It's scary.
So we're working on cool stuff, man. Brother in arms.
Mine is all scratched up from the freaking cat. I can't really see it on here.
I'll talk your ear off about Shogun, and then you'll have to find a Korean, martial arts drama for us to watch.
There isn't much.
Huh.
At least not off the top of my head. I don't know. I haven't watched too many. I say that is over on a shelf over in that corner. There is. I got a box set of 100 shitty kung fu movies.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, it was the best $10 I spent at Costco.
Like 10 cents a movie.
The best is there's so many actors listed on it who you can tell this isn't their real name. And it'll be like Bryce Lee.
Yeah.
Just, okay, yeah, sure. Sure, your name is Bryce Lee and you're a martial artist in movies. All right. I'm sure that's exactly how that went. All right, I need to listen to a sound on here just because I'm cutting out the cheers on the end of the first bit. Great. Cheers and thank you for watching. There it is. Great. Cheers and thank you for watching. All right, we'll just delete that. Can't think of a better time to celebrate. Decent cork squeak on that. Thanks for listening. Cheers. All right. What do you think? Any music?
Let me ask you that question with a question. Ryan, what was my first degree?
Music.
Put the damn music in.
See, I'm thinking no music. I want to leave this as rough as possible.
Shorts, it's a whole new world. You might be right. I actually don't know yet.
I'm thinking keep this as just rough. Here's an honest thing from me. Thank you. No production in it. Just thank you for being here. I think that'll come across the most sincere.
Just Google taiko drums and just shove that in at 10% volume. It's like, it's subliminal. You don't really know what's going on. There's just this rumble going on. And later on, you realize, yes.
Hang on. How do you spell that? T-I...
A-I-K-O.
A-I-K-O.
Taiko.
All right. Looked it up on TikTok sounds, and there's a few.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's popular. For me, it's more dramatic and more skillful than a lot of like just the percussive stuff we do in the West. It's nice. And it does fit. You can have it be this low rumble for a battle scene or this slow swell for something dramatic. You can do a lot of mileage with it. There we go.
I think that's the one.
This is definitely a modern style, but do it, man.
Oh, they've got more. Do we want epic? I think that's a little too ambitious for this.
Yeah, you want more of a warm tone?
Combat, I don't think that's what we're looking for.
What else we got?
The dragon. I think we gotta listen to the dragon.
We are required by law.
There's something.
Mm-hmm.
It's not showing up. There it goes.
Yeah, okay, we got that slow build up. This would be really good background. This light right here for your greeting. Like, hi, I'm Ryan Heinzen, and there's something I want you to know about. I love you. I love whiskey, and you will love Masataka Taketsuru.
We're gonna add this one and see how it does. Exciting moment for me here. Episode 1 of released for my podcast about my Taketsuru. So I'm gonna celebrate with a glass of this very special bottle here. Taketsuru. Still hate the sound of my own voice.
Watch some Jordan Peterson. You'll feel better.
So, this is a funny little side rant. One of the things on my Google search history now is how to do a vocal impersonation of Gilbert Gottfried.
Why would you do that?
Thanks for listening. Cheers. There's a story that involves a talking parrot, and my mind went to, I should try and make this sound like in Aladdin.
This is perfect. It's a complete, like, it has nothing to do with parrots. It's just this bottle of cultural association we have, and that is the Wizard ride, you know?
Gave up. Could not do it. Very depressing that I can't do that. I even tried to look up and find, like, there's one AI that said it could make my voice sound like Gilbert Gottfried, but it wanted $25 a month. No, I don't need to sound like Gilbert that badly. I don't know if I want to hear what my voice sounds like when I'm like Gilbert Gottfried.
What is it about you sounding like Gilbert Gottfried? Just get the AI and say, like, hey, you can just sound like him. Do these words.
That still costs money. I tried. You're welcome to try and find one. That episode isn't live yet. Surprisingly, it's not the episode about a pirate either.
I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of AI. I used to be an AI researcher. I might not come back.
I'm still curious to hear what you think about it, but we'll save that for another time.
I just want to tell you one thing that sums up the whole tone, which is a skill I learned from you. The first conference I went to, and it was a long time ago before anyone was worrying about AI, every single person there was talking seriously about how AI is going to obliterate us all, and just having discussions, documented discussions about how we will be obliterated by AI. And
are we in line with that so far? I feel like we probably are.
Yeah, we are. And not the part everyone's complaining about, but we're on track. And it's a thing where it's like Stephen Hawking discussing gravity. Like, yeah, like this is how it works. It's funny. There's no reason like getting mad about it because it's just a force of. It's just so foreordained. Why worry about it? And if the most intelligent experts who do this for a living are saying that, like, come on, some guy on Instagram read a couple posts. Don't worry about it. Live your life.
My only question when it comes to AI is, if I say words like please and thank you to my Google Home, is it going to spare me when Skynet comes real?
Oh, it does not care at all. Zero care.
Okay, that's reassuring.
That's the whole thing. You get this philosophical stuff, which is something that was the first thing we cut out of our podcast to actually have a focused topic. But people talk about
I miss it sometimes.
What does God want? Like the concept that God would have the same vocabulary for wanting things that you and I did is just insane. Like, okay, does God want me to like date a lot of women or be monogamous? Like, God does not give a shit about sexual reproduction. He's got big stuff that you can't even comprehend going on. So if we talk about, is the AI going to be mad that I used curse words or please? That is not on the AI's level. It is not thinking about that stuff. It's thinking about these other things.
Interesting. That'll definitely be a good rabbit hole we should go down some other time, but is there anything that we should cover while we're on the show?
Corn liquor is good.
Yes, it is. I think
we
this is technically a blend, so there's probably some corn in this.
Yeah, mine is just corn, and more corn. Tell me actually what yours is made up of.
I don't actually know too much about this. I'm 90% sure it's a blend.
It's like kissing a string.
And I'm fairly certain it's 43% because that's one of the only things on the back that's not in characters is I can see the number 43 and a percent sign somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Next question. When was this bottle made?
No idea. I can do a Google search and find out.
Next question. When was that company founded?
When did it first release its bottle, or when did it get founded as a juice company?
I want to hear about the juice.
So that's going to be coming in part 2. I don't want to spoil too much, but they started out at making apple juice. Well, he was trying to buy up everything like the still, barrels, all of that, and have it sit in barrels for years and years. They were making apple juice, and it was Dai Nippon Kaiju. And hopefully I didn't butcher that too much. It's supposed to mean Great Japanese Juice Company. How did I do?
Pretty good. I still love how you guys say Suru. That makes me smile every time you do that right.
Great. I love to hear that. I'm still not sure that I'm doing it right every time. But Dai Nippon Kaiju, by the time they put out their whiskey, they had shortened the name to Nika.
I will have to look at the symbols to see how that got shrunk down to that. But there's a way.
Over my head, but they did it. And then they released their first bottle of whiskey just in time for World War II to start and set prices from the Japanese government to kick their ass. Yeah, that was a thing.
Well.
But they made it through.
World War II. A lot of
also talked about in my podcast and weirdly comes up a lot in my shows. I don't know why. I tend to focus on a segment of history that's World War I to World War II. I can hear you loud and clear now.
Oh my lord, I know exactly what. So the special mic I'm trying to use, which doesn't appear in frame, it's a condenser mic, which requires power. And when the system turns off, to be safe, it turns off the power.
That makes sense.
Also, I'm a robot now.
It's a little choppy. Are you using a different one or is it just plugged in?
Everything's plugged in. I don't know why it's not happy. Probably just need to like restart the browser and everything.
That could be, or it could just be low battery and having to warm up and get back to full power a little.
That's a good point too. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like I'm always putting a lot of time into new mad scientist stuff, and the fact that late last week and early this week I spent that time hiring help means that I have even more time for more mad scientist stuff. And yeah, all of my gear has been moved and reattached, and there's surprises left and right now.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, there's been a lot of learning from it. The first thing I did was I'm looking to try to do like better lighting, and my home was designed to be just like a glass house where you can have outside all the time.
You mentioned this earlier, yeah.
So one of the things I did before I actually make the investment in buying, blinds, blackout, because I need a crane to put blinds on certain parts of my windows. I bought just blackout sheets with sticky tape, and I put that on a lot of the windows and tried that out. And that, cutting them up, measuring them, took a lot of time. And then also spending more, like, getting more serious about the voice acting stuff. Had to actually soundproof a room in my house in order to, have it clear enough of a recording to actually be worth demos and auditions and stuff. So between those two things have gotten moved around a lot.
Hey, that's good. Glad that you're constantly and consistently making progress, my friend. It's the most important part, right?
It is. I lose touch with that every so often, needing things to get better, faster, get this accomplished result, and then remember that, like, what we're doing is the best part. Like, if I was a billionaire doing this, learning this, that would be the most fun part. Gotta enjoy it.
As much as we can, right?
I think it's a skill. I think you can let it just pass over your head, just do it without noticing it. And yeah, as much as you can, enjoy it. It's a real thing.
All right, you are about to have my fully undivided attention again in a couple seconds here as this goes live. Feel so bad not talking to you, but I figured this would be a fun surprise.
I made a video about how able to re-aim your camera all with one desk, and people mocked me for it, and it's freaking useful. I really, really appreciate having that ability.
Hey, every little bit helps, and someone might not know it, so you're going to help someone. You don't need to help everyone. If it just helps one person, it's worth it.
That's actually a really powerful point. Like my whiskey video for St. Patrick's, I put a lot more heart and soul into that than I did anything I've made. And not a lot of people saw it, but like one or two people, like strangers that have no reason to say nice things to me, liked it. That makes me really feel like I added something out there.
It's a great feeling, isn't it?
Yeah, like you get down to it, like all everyone wants to do with their life is to, like add more to the world, to have had a meaningful purpose with their life. And I don't know what purpose there is except making the world have more good things. Unless you go, full Batman, which is a whole other question.
I don't think I have that capacity as much as I wish I did.
Well, Nordic blood was created to break the laws in order to do what is right.
Yeah, there's some Viking blood in me somewhere.
Mm.
Oh, I didn't even notice we were being recorded again. I didn't see you click that. Sorry, I was so in my phone. But hey,
I,
official video is live.
I didn't click it. The AI did it. It likes you.
Um, I'm flattered, I guess, and hopefully there won't be a killer Roomba coming after me in the future. Just for that, I'm now on its shit list.
Hmm. So I am still open for whatever plans you have. I did budget a little bit of extra time tonight because we're celebrating something else today.
What's that?
In less than 4 hours, it will be Ryan's birthday. Woo!
Oh, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
May I have spoken too soon. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ryan. Happy birthday to you.
Well done. Beautiful. Gotta be careful, though. If you're singing to me like that, serenading me while I'm drinking whiskey, I'm not responsible for what happens next.
I can do it now because like where I have a safe distance between, you know.
That's probably a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely, I'm excited about that. Like, congratulations, man.
Well, thank you.
Do you want to share like what you're doing? How are you gonna celebrate your birthday?
As far as I know, absolutely nothing.
Oh, that's great.
Went to Texas Roadhouse today with my two good friends up here and had lunch with them. And tomorrow I'm baking a cake to bring to Easter with the in-laws.
I like this, man. You really like part of the community up there.
I'm trying to. I'm not nearly as much as when I was in Nashville and getting to talk to 50 people a day at a bar, and it was just, oh, I do miss that, and I miss
Hmm.
all the amazing people I met down there. Looking forward to coming back down and having some more drinks with friends.
Yeah, we'll all be here. It's a really great thing that it's not something that needs to be maintained. Just you come down when you can.
I need to do a better job about reaching out and texting some people, though.
I'm still nudging people to try to get the Cooper's tour thing going together.
Yes.
It's an interesting mix where some of the most important people are an unusual form of introvert that I respect, but I don't know exactly how to what the right thing to do with them is.
Mm.
Because it's like I will do one thing and there's no response, and I'll do something else, and it's like, oh yeah, thanks. I'm glad you're not like leaving me behind. I'm like, both of those were the same to me. I don't know what's speaking your language and what's not.
So my brain is going, how do we market this to get more exposure for us? I say we tag team this, come up with a whole plan, and say, hey, if you're free this date, we're going to be going up to Kentucky, doing a tour of a cooperage, and then we're having one of 15 level 4 whiskey sommeliers give us a private tasting.
Ooh. This is the thing where if we plan ahead, there's so much we do. Like, let them know here's an option you have that's going on. There's so many things that people in the industry would volunteer for if they just had time to know about it.
Absolutely. And honestly, I think the best things are when you don't expect how good something is going to be. And it just keeps getting better and better.
That is true.
I'll never forget one of the most incredible nights I had in Nashville. I was going to a tequila tasting at the Whiskey House, which felt a little weird. Of this is my first time going in the Whiskey House, and we're going to be drinking tequila.
I found it offensive.
I was just happy to be invited, and you're going to be pouring me high end tequila. All right, I'll be there. I'll Where do I need to go? What time? Sure, I will make sure I'm there. I'll bring a bottle of something so that way I can make friends
Yeah.
because I want to come back. So, anyways, go to this tequila tasting, Cantera Negra. Love the brand. I'm happy to give them the shout out. And there's a gentleman there by the name of Frank Ray, who is a country music singer and has gotten fairly big, plays some great concerts.
Yeah.
And at the end of the tasting, he just comes up, thanks everyone for coming out, grabs his guitar, and just starts playing and singing. And we're all just sitting there drinking tequila, just going, "This is amazing." Private showing. And then a group of us jump in the rep's car, including Frank Ray. He goes in a different car, but we all just go to this Mexican restaurant and bar, eat nachos, and continue drinking tequila. And the rep just expenses all of it to the company. I think there was 10 of us, and we had over $1,000 worth of tequila while we were there.
Tequila's one of those drinks that can get expensive.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. Their extra añejo, really good. Makes a great tequila old fashioned. I don't want to know how much each of those cost.
All right. My suggestion is it has been a while since we have drunk together at all. The camera shut off. Let's record a proper send off and let's just catch up as off the record adults.
That sounds like a lot of fun to me. So thank you, Ethan, for coming on here on a day when we aren't scheduled to meet and humoring me and letting me express something here.
Yeah, I'm excited about your work as well. It's gonna be great to see what happens next. And as much as anybody, I'm glad to be part of the stuff you're making, man. Thanks for sharing this with us.
My pleasure, and happy to do the same. Jump on anytime you're releasing something, and let's do this again and get your immediate feedback and attention on it.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers. See you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.